Greetings from the far side of the galaxy, I'm Fury, bringing this idea back for a second round. Anyways, it's exactly what it says on the tin, so let's bust out the tier list and get back into it. The new husbando of the day is the new husbando from the new banner, Seapact Lee. He's such a mixed bag. On one hand, he's a great guy with a great personality and a great body, if you know what I mean. He even has like an actual job and gets like money and stuff. However, he also canonically ate Tez's foot. That's not just vor, that's also feet stuff, and I just ain't into that. He gets a slice of bread you think is good only to find out is actually moldy out of 10. Sorry buddy, you may be an A-list actor, but you're a C-tier husbando. Or maybe not, because in the event there's actually a retcon that says that Seapact Lee did not, in fact, eat Tezcatlipoca's leg. So there's no foot stuff, but he did still eat sacrifices, so I'm keeping the vor, moving him up to B tier, but beware, he's on thin ice. Moving on to the next character to feature on the banner is Libo Mai. Very nice. Much jiggle. What? I don't care if it's a reused joke. Do you have any idea how hard that edit was to put together? Anyways, Lieb is two things that make him a horrible husband. A workaholic and lazy. I don't know how he manages to do both at once, but it's what he does. He's like never going to be home because he spends all day at the lab, and when he does come home, he's not doing the dishes. At least we know he's decent with kids because he's the one who has to take care of most of the beast tamers. He gets that one SpongeBob episode where he and Patrick have to take care of a clam out of 10. That's going to be, C tier, give or take. And after one 5-star is the other, Boogeyman. Okay, so keep in mind that this husbando comes with a kid before marriage, i.e. Zurong. Thankfully, Zurong is fucking awesome! Probably better than your own kid, which does give him bonus points. Boogeyman does come with a decent bit of baggage, so you are gonna have to give him lots of hugs. He's also like, naturally creepy. So if he ever takes your kids to the park, he's going to have to explain to the concerned mothers that yes, he is watching kids, and then the misunderstanding is going to get him arrested, and then you're going to have to go to the police station to explain that those are yours, and it's going to be like a whole day. He gets a tough conversation you're going to have with your kids about prejudice out of 10. So that's like what, an A tier? After that, we have Macaroyish. Honestly, a pretty good choice. He was old before regaining youth in Tokyo, so he's got way more experience than the average person. And he does know how to use it, if you know what I mean. In the Jurassic Summer Vacants event, he literally mentions how he had dozens of mistresses in his home world. So yes, it is canon that Macaroyish is a non-stop machine. I'm pretty sure a few of you are going to enjoy that fact. He gets a giggity goo out of 10, which is like B tier. And finally, we have the Housamo Supreme, Heke. It's at times like these where I have to ask how many of you I've gaslit into thinking that Heke is some girl boss and not a fanfic writing femcel. Like, no, seriously, I'm sorry if I made her sound cool or something, but she's really not. As a waifu, she's top tier, S++, 10 out of 10, but like, an actual wife? That's an entirely different story. The best thing she has going for her is that she's a freelance writer who does in fact make money. In terms of home ec skills, ability to raise kids, emotional stability, common sense, decency not to write fanfic about you in public, that's a 0 fatter than Yasuori's butt. She gets a piece of fool's gold out of 10, which is like D tier. That being said, I'd still crawl a mile over fire and brimstone for just a whiff of her bathwater. Moving away from that banner, we have Toji. Not that one. There we go. Here's that fuck the police joke I always make, insert canned laughter here. Anyways, Toji is a solid choice, an upright citizen who basically has a job guaranteed right out of high school. Normally, that would at least put him in A, but Toji's great personality does point him towards S. But you do have to remember one thing. He is a cop, so he goes right down to D tier. He gets a sheriff's badge out of 10. Gulp, seethe, and mauled, Toji fans, I'm right. We're about halfway through the video, give or take, so let me be quick about this. Be sure to like and subscribe, donate to my Ko-fi and Patreon, and check out my live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Sliding in after that is everyone's favorite sad little man, Zabania. He's a lot like Yasuyori in that this man is just a bucket of trauma. And by God, he's going to dump it all over your lap at the slightest provocation. That being said, he does place rather highly for already having a job. He's also the one that does the cleaning at the missionaries, so he's got them home ec skills. Also, I'm like 90% sure that Arslan is already tapping that, so He gets an odd Halloween photo where he's showing off his butt out of 10. That's B tier. After that, Masanori. Frankly speaking, he rates quite highly. He's a live streamer and a writer, so the dude already has income. And on the surface, he's a normal, if a bit weird, well-adjusted guy. Then he starts meowing and summoning the spirits of dead animals, and his place on the tier list immediately begins to drop. The only thing I can say about this guy is, no, don't dox people on the internet. Bad dog, out of 10. B tier. Next up is Aier. Honestly, he just seems like one of those 50 Shades of Grey types. You know, a toxic sugar daddy. Like, he's going to buy you a bunch of gifts and stuff, but he's also going to break into your home and watch you sleep. And you know what? I don't exactly hate that. He gets a 50 shades of some color that's barely darker than white out of 10. That's C tier. Swapping in for Aier is someone much cooler. In fact, they're the coolest cat around. Citri. This creature is weapons grade, nuclear cringe, and I love him for it. Ironically, that's also what makes him such a poor fit for a husband. That childish insecurity is exactly what it sounds like. Childish. He's gullible and easily influenced and has yet to even shake off the toxic masculinity. Before you even have kids, you'll already be taking care of one. He's much more of a pathetically adorable, cringy little brother type. And yeah, I can kinda see why someone would be into that. Can't say he'd make a decent husband though, so he gets one of those videos of kittens angrily meowing at something out of 10. That's like C tier. And switching to what's basically the opposite of Citri, we have an evil girl boss, Hakumen. Sometimes a man wants a woman who's on top, and considering Kitsune had shape-shifting powers, maybe she could even take it to that gooey next step. And you know what? That's based. Sadly, Hakumen functions much better as a dummy sugar mommy than just a regular mother. Much like the rest of the executives at Roppongi, she's completely insane. Like, do you remember Chapter 5 at the casino? Because oh my god. Do any of you remember Ifrit? Okay, you know what? That's fair. I forgot him too. But the point is that he was Hakumen's debt slave. That's just like a thing she has. And unlike Ophion, she also lacks basic home ec skills. She can't even cook for shit. She gets a furry Amelia Bedelia out of 10, which is D tier. And up next, the outlaw's muscles his way into view. Tetsuox. Honestly, it kind of depends on the life you want to live. If you want to be a 12th century warlord and need a good right-hand man who will do whatever you like and slaughter whatever you don't, Tetsuox is your guy. However, seeing as how it's... hang on, I need to check my calendar. Ah, yes. A year with more than 2 digits, he's a bad husbando. He's like a bull in a china shop, except he can easily tear through concrete. Oddly enough, he gets a Jemuka out of 10, which is like C tier. I must have confused the Outlaws with the Joneses because we're keeping up with them. Oh fuck, that was one of the worst transitions so far. The next husbando is Yobu. He's one of the few people in all of Tokyo to actually have kids. Granted, I'm not sure if they're actually his kids because they are called underlings. Also, they come from a sacred artifact, so I'm not even sure if they count as people. However, even if we ignore that, the fact remains that Yobu is a great dude. He's such an awesome and dadly dude that those at the Outlaws call him uncle. Yobu gets I was gonna say silver fox, but he's more like a brown tanuki, out of 10. That's an easy S tier. Switching to the literal opposite of Yobu, we have Nyarlathotep. Okay, so I think we all know he's going to get D tier. The question is why. Is it the fact that there are daddy issues, and then there are whatever the fuck Nyarlathotep has? What about the time he nearly destroyed the missionaries in the main quest? I mean, yeah, he did eventually fix the problem, but he was still the cause. Or the fact that in Housamo's 6 years of existence, he's yet to show up in an event and not really cause problems. Like, he's one of my favorite characters in this game, but as the saying goes, don't stick your dick in crazy. He gets a Mirai Nikki out of 10, which, like I said, is D tier. Since we're talking about the old ones, let's go from one to the next with Kasuka. Okay, as much as we love him, I think we can all agree that a guy who explodes wouldn't be that good to live with. Like, ignoring his personality, which is quite flawed, he explodes. Fuck him being your husbando. Will you even survive past him being your boyfriend? He gets a literal bomb out of 10, which is definitely E tier. He's one of the few characters that will actually just kill you. Finally, rounding out the pack is the one, the only Kimon Kamui, and Win Kamui, I suppose. He'd rate so highly if he wasn't tied to Win Kamui. Kimon is daddy, and like not even hyperbolically. Good personality, loves taking care of kids, but then he transforms and Win Kamui starts chasing you with a sword. So despite how awesome Kimon Kamui is, Win Kamui really just torpedoes that ship. He gets a Jekyll and Hyde out of 10, and yes, I did pronounce that correctly. Kimon Kamui is S tier, and Win Kamui is D tier, so together, they get lumped into C tier. The video may be over, but like any self-respecting YouTuber, I still have to do Patreon shoutouts. For our 3 stars, we have special thanks to 87 Werehog, Deku, Zoro Chow, Choron, Garen Lefay, Dragon Yara, Anon RC, Lightning Shadow, and Kayun. For 4 stars, we have Miki Moon and Meko, the hyper-energetic martial fighters. For our Super D-Tuper special 5-star shoutouts, we have... First, Vanilla Flower, the elegant Grim Reaper. Then, Poor Mage, the noble vampire samurai. Followed by Hodari Lion, the almighty all-rounder. Next, Sky King 64, the unfaltering awakened samurai. And finally, Mahagasaur, the ever-growing wild boy. Thank you for watching. Do be sure to like and subscribe and check out my live streams on Mondays and Fridays. As always, this is Rose Fury signing out.